Well, why do you care so much about success? Have you figured that out?
I'm just addicted to it.
Why?
I think that I've sacrificed so much for it already and dedicated so much of my time that I have to push it as far as I possibly can, because I've given up a lot of years as far as maybe like nurturing like personal relationships go, and you know, trying to build things like a family or a relationship, or I don't do any of that.
Before Drake became one of the most successful recording artists of his generation, the world knew him as a teenager on Canadian television. He had a recognizable face, a steady acting job, and a future that already looked secure. But Drake wanted something completely different. He wanted to become a rapper in an industry that did not know what to make of a sensitive former teen actor from Toronto. He did not fit the image many labels expected. His music blended singing, confession, ambition, and vulnerability at a time when those qualities were often treated as weaknesses. Instead of accepting the identity the world had given him, he created a new one. This is Always Fail Forward. Today, we tell the story of Drake, an artist who walked away from certainty, survived rejection and public defeat, and transformed himself into a global force in music and business. To television audiences, Drake was Jimmy Brooks. To Drake, that role was only one part of who he intended to become. While working long days on set, he spent his nights writing lyrics and recording music. He sometimes slept in his dressing room after staying up late to work on songs, then woke up in time for filming the next morning. The schedule was exhausting, but the larger challenge was perception. People already had an image of him. He was the teenager from a television drama. He was not viewed as someone who could compete in serious hip-hop. The same acting career that gave him financial stability also made it harder for people to take his musical ambition seriously. Drake did not have the traditional background many listeners expected from a rapper. He was Canadian. He had been a child actor. He spoke openly about loneliness, relationships, family, and doubt. Instead of hiding those differences, he eventually made them the center of his music. He independently released his first mixtape, Room for Improvement, in 2006. It did not turn him into a star. His second project, Comeback Season, followed in 2007. The audience was still relatively small, and mainstream success remained distant. Yet every project helped him sharpen his sound. He learned how to move between rapping and singing without treating them as separate identities. He studied how melodies could make personal stories feel universal. He began working closely with producer Noah "40 Shabib, whose atmospheric production would become central to the sound Drake was developing. For years, he worked in a space where the outcome was uncertain. His acting career was slowing. His music had not yet created financial security, and there was no guarantee that the industry would ever take him seriously. But Drake continued releasing music because he believed that being different was not the problem. It was the opportunity. The turning point came in 2009 with So Far Gone. The mixtape sounded different from what dominated hip-hop at the time. Drake moved comfortably between confidence and insecurity. He could deliver a sharp rap verse, then shift into a melodic reflection about ambition, relationships, or fear. Songs from the project began spreading online. Audiences who had never watched Degrassi were discovering an artist who seemed willing to admit the emotions many rappers avoided. The project created enough momentum to attract attention from major labels and established artists. Lil Wayne recognized Drake's potential and brought him into the Young Money circle. Suddenly, The former television actor was standing beside some of the biggest names in rap. But the breakthrough did not erase the pressure. It increased it. Drake now had to prove that he was more than a popular mixtape artist. Critics questioned whether his emotional style had lasting value. Others believed his success depended too heavily on Lil Wayne's support. His debut studio album, Thank Me Later, arrived in 2010 and immediately placed him under enormous expectations. He followed it with Take Care, an album that strengthened his identity and earned him his first Grammy Award. Drake was no longer asking the industry for permission. He was changing what the industry considered acceptable. His willingness to combine rap, R&B, pop, and personal confession helped reshape mainstream music. Vulnerability was no longer something that needed to be hidden. Singing and rapping no longer had to occupy separate worlds. The traits that once made people question him became the foundation of his influence. Reaching the top did not end Drake's battles. It simply made them public. As his success grew, so did the criticism. Some listeners questioned his authenticity because of his acting background. Others attacked the emotional openness that had made his music distinctive. He faced accusations about songwriting, public conflicts with other artists, and repeated debates about whether commercial dominance should be treated as artistic greatness. Rap battles exposed him to a different kind of pressure. In competition, a defeat is not private. It becomes entertainment. Every response is analyzed. Every lyric becomes evidence. Every silence becomes part of the story. Drake experienced major victories in these conflicts, but he also experienced moments when public opinion turned sharply against him. Those moments challenged the image of someone who appeared almost impossible to defeat commercially. This is where his story becomes more valuable than a simple rise to fame. Failure at the beginning of a career can be painful, but failure after success can be even harder. At the beginning, very few people are watching. At the top, everyone is waiting to see how you respond. Drake continued releasing music, touring, collaborating, and adapting his sound. Sometimes the reinvention was celebrated. Sometimes it was criticized. But he refused to let one album, one feud, or one public setback become the final definition of his career. He understood that longevity requires surviving periods when the audience no longer sees you the way you see yourself. The goal is not to avoid losing. The goal is to remain capable of creating after the loss. Drake's journey is not a story about someone who was never doubted. It is the story of someone who refused to remain inside the identity other people chose for him. He could have stayed an actor. He could have changed his sound to fit what the industry expected. He could have disappeared after public defeats and criticism. Instead, he continued creating. His career proves that reinvention does not always mean abandoning who you were. Sometimes it means taking every version of yourself, the outsider, the actor, the rapper, the singer, the winner, and the person who lost, and using all of them to build something larger. Your first identity does not have to become your final one. Your public failures do not have to become your final chapter. This is Always Fail Forward. If Drake's journey inspired you to keep evolving when others try to define you, subscribe to Always Fail Forward. For more stories of people who transformed rejection, pressure, and setbacks into lasting success.